Yo, cool nerds, what's going on? This week, Resident Evil 5. Oh man, Resident Evil. Hold on, before I get started on the figures, can I tell you my story about Resident Evil? Period. In the beginning, Resident Evil 1. Excuse me. It's Resident Evil 1 was the game I started it off with, the original Resident Evil series, the original. Basically, I remember when I got the game. We went to Blockbuster. My dad took me to Blockbusters, and it was a big controversy about the game. The game, it was scary. It was bloody. It was ahead of its time. It was, it was like playing through an actual horror movie. Growing up, I was terrified of horror movies. My mom, if she wanted, my spanking was to sit down and watch Freddy Krueger or something. Like, oh, you got all F's? Get in here, watch Freddy Krueger because this is what's going down. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I got all F's, I'm just trying to use this scenario. So, basically, I got the game because it's a video game. I just wanted to have some fun because, I was a video game crazy back then. So I got it, brung it home. I'm happy, I'm excited. I got the game from Blockbusters. You can get ready for a couple of days and return it. So I put it in the PlayStation 1, hit the click button, turned on, and it basically started off. As soon as it started off, I was like, hey, wait a second, this isn't a game. This is. It started like Resident Evil, and I was like, whoa, snap! Like I had a surround sound too, so it was echoing around the room, and I'm like, hold on, wait a second, I done got into something. I don't even know what I got into. It said press start right now, and I said, oh, okay. And I pressed start, and I got into the game. In the beginning, they were showing the little human clips, movie clips. You know how they'll show the human, the real life version, like a movie. Talking about, oh, this is cool. They're running from dogs, and I remember clear as day. Running from dogs, and I get into the house, and then basically, this is where the horror started. I had Chris, the original time. I picked him because you could pick either Chris or Jill. I picked Chris. I ran with the fellas on this one. So you come in and he has a scenario. Where's Wesker? He was like, the graphics were so crazy back then. It was, it was ahead of its time back then. It was cool. But now if you could download up a PS3 and you look at it and it's like so bad. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, but it's still a fun game. So basically, I'm running with Chris, and when you play with Chris, he starts with a knife. You see what I'm saying? You got a knife, and you're thinking like, oh, I can have a gun. In the commercials, you see him shooting things down, but he starts with a knife. You're like, all right, cool, I'll roll with the knife, and maybe later on I get a gun or something. And the controls was crazy. The controls was like, how Resident Evil controls are. Like they try to build the suspense with the controls, so you gotta adjust yourself. So I'm going through the rooms. The mansion was haunted. It was scary. Going there, this story I put people all the time, so don't mind me rambling. I go into the rooms and I said it's nice and quiet and it's cool. Ain't nothing really scary yet. I don't see any monsters. Then I go into this one specific room, and when you open the door, then that's when they show a clip of a zombie, and he's like biting down on some flesh. He's like, and then he looks up like the. And he had blood all around his mouth, and I said, ah! And turned it off. I said, click, I turned it right on off. My mom's like, what's wrong, Lorenzo? What you skipping for? Oh, nothing. I had to play tough, you know what I'm saying? So, basically, for the whole period that I had rented the game for 5 or so days, this is what I did. True story. I would put the game in, because I just wanted to play it. Like, forget it, I'm a man. I went and complained to my dad, like, yo, this game is mad scary. Scary? It's a video game, man. Go get in there and play that game. Stop being a punk. You know what I mean? And I was like, alright then, I'll go try it out. And I would try to go play the game. You gonna waste my money. I'll go over to Blockbuster, rent this game, and you gonna waste my money and not play it? Like, yeah, Dad, alright, whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I go in there and try it. Man, you better get in there and go. Alright, Dad, I got you the first time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, whatever. So I start the game up. And I would always watch the beginning movie. I would walk to that specific spot and always turn the game off. Like, ooh, I can't go past that part. That part is way too crazy for me, man. And I remember I rode with my people at school, and they'd be like, yo, you heard about this game? He was like, yeah, I got that. I just played it the other day. Like, oh, word? Yo, you played it? What's it? Oh, it's tight, man. Oh, it's crazy tight. It's so. I didn't want to tell them about the whole scary part because they look at me all crazy, like, what are you, a punk? You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, they stopped at the same spot too. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, we stopped there. You know, when I found out. But basically, when, that game changed everything when it came to survival horror. Till this day, I still give Resident Evil the props of being the best survival horror game. Even Resident Evil 5, they some say it's an action game. I was still like, you know, jumping at some scenes. With that, let me get to the figures. I'm rambling on a little too long. I got Chris and Sheva Alomar from the Resident Evil 5 series. Chris and Sheva, they're good figures. Don't get me wrong. The very detailed, very articulated from what I see to the packs. The only thing is that my people at Final Fantasy, the Play Art, excuse me, that make the Final Fantasy figures, they are going to make 9-inch scale figures that is going to blow these out of the water. I think it's going to, in November, these figures are going to be coming out, and they're going to be top of the line type figures. So the score that I give these figures is 8 on Chris and a 7 for Sheva. The reason I give him an 8 is because, you know, he's not really too spectacular. He's coming with a shotgun, pistol, and nothing that's really going to blow you away. And with Sheva, like I said, I like my figures. I like my ladies to look like the ladies, and especially the black woman. You know, I want her to look 10 times good. You know what I'm saying? And they got her looking crazy. And on the game, she was a very beautiful character. Yeah, and she comes with the what you call it, the sniper rifle and the handgun also. And I just got done playing the game with my sister, man. She lives in Arizona. We have PS3s, and we did a whole, the multiplayer thing has got to be the most funnest thing ever created. So we would play together. You know, we always play games together, from Super Mario to here. You know what I'm saying? So playing the game with her made the game 10 times fun, because you saving your sister, getting the zombies off her, and she's saving you, and you happy. You got stories to tell around the table. So I you know, Resident Evil 5, good game. Figures decent. When players come out, I will buy them. I will do another review on them. Just a quick story about Resident Evil 5. This is one part when I'm playing with my sister, and they got some quick time parts where you have to press a triangle or something to dodge certain things. And that's the new God of War thing. So they try to put it in every game. It seems like it. So there were parts where you press triangle to save her, or she'll press a button to save you. But there was one part where you had to press the 2 triggers down to do something, and I thought she was not pressing it at the right time. I'm like, come on, man, you're killing me here. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting mad at her over the Bluetooth, and it's like, no, you're not pressing the button. So we were going back and forth and arguing through the whole thing because I wasn't pressing the triggers down. So my bad, Samantha. I didn't get a chance to say sorry. So here you go. But yeah. www.coolnerdzt.com. Resident Evil 5, Nerds Unite. Resident Evil. Peace.